Hi everyone. Our previous topic was heat, and now this topic we are starting with the temperature. As I told you, even in the previous lecture, I have told you that there is a specific difference between heat insolation, that is heat and insolation, which we studied in last lecture, that is insolation and then the heat balance of the earth, and then temperature. What is the basic difference between heat and the temperature? Insolation is the amount of sun's energy which we receive. Then insolation heats up the surface of the earth. After heating up, the surface of the earth transfers the heat to the atmosphere by the process of conduction, that is transfer through the molecules, transfer by touching of the body, one hot body and cold body, if they touch, then the heat gets transferred, or by the process of convection, or by the process of radiation. These are the three different processes through which the heat is transferred from ground to the upper atmosphere. And the upper atmosphere gets heated up due to the radiation, due to convection from the ground, through which waves, long waves from the ground, they heat up the lower atmosphere, and this heated atmosphere, the degree or the intensity of hotness or coldness, what we feel, we call it as a temperature. So our next topic is about the temperature, and not just the insolation, not just heat balance, but about temperature. So what is this temperature? This temperature denotes the intensity or degree of hotness or coldness. It is intensity of hotness or coldness. It is the intensity of the hotness or the coldness. So heating and cooling of the atmosphere, or we can say the high temperature in the atmosphere, the degree of hotness or coldness in the atmosphere depends on two factors. One is the insolation which we get, but if the question comes in the examination tomorrow, that what is the major source of heating up of the atmosphere, if the one option is insolation or solar radiation, the second option is ground or terrestrial radiation, what should be your answer? Is the terrestrial radiation necessary, or is it the solar radiation which is the one of the major source of heating? No doubt, as I said even in the previous lecture, that the parent source or the main source of heating the earth is the insolation or solar radiation. But after the earth gets heated, it transfers the heat through the form of long wave terrestrial radiation, and this long wave terrestrial radiation is not allowed to escape the earth by water vapor, by carbon dioxide, these are the chief constituents, and some of the other greenhouse gases such as methane, such as carbon monoxide. So these gases do not allow the heat to leave the earth, or the amount of heat is trapped inside the earth. It is reflected back to earth, again reflected back, and thus the heat gets trapped inside the earth, resulting into increase in the temperature of an atmosphere. In the previous lecture, we did the heat balance of the earth. Here we have done in the heat balance that whatever the energy, whatever the amount of solar radiation which the earth gets, earth radiates it back. It's fine. Yes, it is radiating back. The solar radiation is being radiated back, but the terrestrial radiation in the form of long wave, it is also radiated back, but it is trapped, and that is why we are feeling the temperature. So the heating of the earth's surface, or we can say now heating and cooling of the atmosphere, because we are doing the climatology part, so heating of the atmosphere. The heating of the atmosphere, the process of heating of the atmosphere done by ground radiation or terrestrial radiation. in the form of long waves. These are in the form of long waves. The ground or terrestrial radiation is in the form of long waves. So though indirectly sun is the major factor, in heating the atmosphere, but most important factor is the ground radiation. Or we can say terrestrial radiation. So you now know the answer. If it comes in the question examination, what you say, what is the most important factor in heating of the atmosphere? It is the ground or the terrestrial radiation, and not the sun. Sun is the major factor, but not the most important factor. So how is this process initiated? As we have already done, heating of the atmosphere. Atmosphere is the gaseous envelope or a gaseous covering on the surface of the earth. So if this is the ground surface and this is the atmosphere, it is consisting of the numerous gases. It is an envelope on the surface of the earth. The radiated heat, the heat which is radiated from the ground, goes back to the atmosphere, and it is not allowed to escape, but it is radiated back to the atmosphere. It comes back to the atmosphere, again reflected, again radiated back, again reflected, again radiated back. So this is how the atmosphere will get heated up. So heat is trapped and temperature increases. What is this phenomenon as? This phenomena is known as greenhouse effect, or it is also known as glass effect. As I have already given you examples in previous lectures, hot, or if a car parked in an open area, not in the shade. If a car is parked in an open area, it becomes very hot. So what is the next thing a person does is generally open the windows so that the heat which is trapped inside escapes. The heat, similarly in the atmosphere, the ground radiation is trapped. And why ground radiation is trapped? Because the atmosphere, many of the constituents of the atmosphere, not exactly the atmosphere, many of the constituents of the atmosphere, they are transparent to incoming short wave solar radiations, while they are opaque, or they trap the outgoing long wave terrestrial radiations. Such an effect is known as greenhouse effect. The gases which do such an greenhouse, that is, which do not allow the long wave terrestrial radiations to escape, these are known as greenhouse gases. As well as water vapor also acts, see, listen to my words, water vapor also acts like a greenhouse gas. And also it is also known as an glass effect, because even in the glass, same thing you can absorb. So the radiations enter the car through the glass, but it cannot escape the glass again. So the long wave versus the short wave radiation. So this is how the heating of the atmosphere takes place. So what is the major source for the heating of the atmosphere? No doubt the major source, take it in your mind, the major source for the heating of the atmosphere is ground radiation in the form of long wave terrestrial radiations. So terrestrial radiation, ground radiation is the major source, the most important source for heating of the atmosphere. Direct source. Indirect is sun. Sun does not directly heat up the atmosphere. Sun heats up the ground, and then the ground heats up the atmosphere. So obviously the major source is atmosphere. If someone burns the hand by touching a hot vessel, the answer one, if the doctor asks, so what, how did you cause a burn? They won't say that by putting the hand on the gas or in the flame. The answer will be the hot vessel. So because the direct contact is with the hot vessel. Obviously the vessel initially was not hot. It must have been put on under the stove or a burner and then it got hot. But we never go to doctor and say that it is because indirectly through the burner we got her vessel got hot and then I burnt my hand, or one burnt the hand. It is never. It is the hot vessel which causes the burning. Silencer of a motorcycle which causes the burning. Fuel is not a cause. Because obviously the motor was running, the gas burner was running, so the burn happened. Same thing, same logic you apply. Whatever may be the explanations one may give you, you should remember the source of heating of the atmosphere is the ground radiation, not the solar radiation. Solar radiation, as I say, burner, why I give you an example of a burner is because to tell you, burner got hot, this vessel got hot because it was placed on a gas, but the burnt occurred due to the hot vessel. Similarly, obviously, the solar radiation heat up the atmosphere, but the solar radiation heats up the earth in turn then heats up the atmosphere, but what directly heats up the atmosphere is the ground or terrestrial radiation. So this is the major source. Now what is the process of heating of the atmosphere? The process of mechanism of heating by these processes, the heating of the atmosphere occurs due to conduction, convection, or we can say radiation. I will take first, and then convection. Then convection. Now, considering that these all are basics, very basics, I won't go too much deep into it, because this is not just related to geography, it is also related to general science or 6th, 7th, 8th standard science level. Any of the science books, you can know the phenomena of conduction, convection and radiation. Still, what is the process of an conduction? Conduction is the transfer of the heat through the molecules. Is transfer of heat by molecules in any body. This is the process of conduction. So if the heat has to be transferred through a molecule, if this is one hot surface and if this is the cold surface, if I want to transfer the heat through molecules, it is not that heat can be transferred if I keep it at a distance. For transferring the heat through molecules, I need to bring it together and touch it. There is no Bluetooth connectivity. There is no near field technology here. I have to bring it in the contact. So the contact is necessary in the process of conduction. So the process of conduction, and obviously the process of conduction, both if this one body is hot, this body is cold, then only if I touch the body there will be transfer of heat. If these bodies are of same temperature, then there won't be any use by touching. So the conduction, you have to remember, conduction is effective by touching the bodies of different temperature, by touching the bodies of a different temperature. Now the third is conduction. Which are good conductors of heat? Metal is a good conductor of heat. Why? Because we are doing the climatology part. We are not concerned with metal, but we are concerned with air. But air is poor or bad of heat. And because the air is poor or bad conductor of heat, air is not an effective medium to transfer the heat. Therefore, the heat transfer by conduction will not occur. Where is air? Will not occur vertically, where the air moves up and down, or through the touching of the molecules in the air. Though air is there surrounding us, but the process of conduction is not effective in an air. The process of conduction is effective only if the molecules touch each other of different, that is hot stone, cold stone, and if they are metals, then only conduction will be possible. But air is a bad conductor of heat, and therefore you remember, therefore heat transfer through conduction is effective only up to few meters, is effective only up to few meters in lower atmosphere. In lower atmosphere, heat transfer through conduction will be effective only in the lower atmosphere. Now, I know you must be wondering why we are doing this, because this is simple physics, not required in geography, but I am doing this process, though it is bit slow and you must be thinking, this entire process, conduction, is the transfer by molecules of different temperature. This is all physics, but this is where any UPSC or any examination taking in the future, for preliminary examination, obviously, in this the statement can come directly that heat transfer through conduction is effective in the entire atmosphere or effective only up to few meters. So what you have to remember from the geography point of view, that is heat transfer to conduction is effective only for few meters. In which atmosphere? That is in the lower atmosphere. This is why I took this. That is, heat transfer through the process of conduction is effective only up to few meters in the lower atmosphere, because air is a bad or poor conductor of heat. Now the second process is of radiation. The second process is of radiation. What is the process of an radiation? Now, radiation is the transfer of heat from one body to another without any medium. Without any medium. So it does not require the help of a medium. That is, it does not require the help of a medium, solid medium, stones or metals. It does not require liquid medium, that is water. Neither does it require the help of an gaseous medium. So the transfer of heat from one body to other body without the help of any medium is called as an radiation. So therefore, the sun's energy, so if the question comes tomorrow, can the sun's energy travel in a vacuum, or can the sun's radiation reach the earth through the vacuum, or is there atmosphere in the galaxy? No, radiation does not require the help of a medium. That is why the sun's radiation, sun's heat or sun's energy reaches Earth even when there is no atmosphere. Sun is billions of kilometers, millions of kilometers away, and still the sun's solar radiation comes. That is why we say solar radiation. We do not say solar conduction, solar convection. It is the radiation which is bringing the energy, and because it can travel also through the vacuum, it does not require any medium. So there are two kinds of radiations. One is the solar radiation which heats up the ground. So solar radiation which heats up the ground, and the terrestrial radiation, which heats up the atmosphere. Which heats up the atmosphere. So solar radiation heats up the ground surface and terrestrial radiation heats up the atmosphere. Now, why does the terrestrial radiation heats up the atmosphere? The terrestrial radiation is trapped and radiated back to the atmosphere. It is trapped and radiated back to the Earth's surface. So this is how it is radiated back to the Earth's surface. Therefore, the lower atmosphere is relatively warm. Therefore, the lower atmosphere is relatively. So, the terrestrial radiation is trapped and radiated back to the Earth, keeping the lower atmosphere warm. Okay. Now, this you remember this. Again, we are not doing direct geography here. We are doing the applications here. So, if tomorrow you already know one concept of geography in the troposphere, that as you are going up, the temperature decreases at the rate of 6.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer. It is known as normal lapse rate. Or you also know that the hill stations are cooler. Or you also know the higher the mountains, there is a chance of a snowfall. You also know most of the mountain peaks in the world, or even in India, in Himalayan regions, they are snow covered mountains. You also know that one of the highest peak of Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro, though it is located on the equator, it is covered by the snow. Now if I ask you why, as I told you, you know the normal lapse rate occurs. Now the one of the applications is that is the lower atmosphere is relatively warm, and as you are going away from the lower atmosphere, you are going away from the source of the heat, because it is the terrestrial radiation which is heating up the most of the atmosphere or it is the Earth which is heating up most of the atmosphere through the three processes of conduction, convection and radiation. So the terrestrial radiation is the one of the major source for heating up the atmosphere, because it is trapped by the greenhouse gases and it is radiated back to the Earth, and the process keeps on repeating in the vicious cycle, or not vicious cycle, actually the cycle goes on, and thus the radiation occurs, and therefore we can say the lower atmosphere is relatively warmer. Okay, so this is one of the application. Keep it in mind. We will come to that question in the factors affecting the distribution of temperature. That is why hill stations are cold, or why there is a presence of normal lapse rate. Okay, so this is one of the factors which is there. So this is there. And the third process of heating of the atmosphere is convection. Through the process of convection. Now, the process of convection is effective. What is the process of a convection? It is the transfer of heat by the movement of a substance or mass of a substance. It is a transfer of heat through the movement of mass of a substance. That is, when this is the definition, but when the substance or the substance moves from one part, or a mass of a substance or a body of a substance, when it moves from one part to another, the heat is transferred, and that is what we call as a convection. Now, looking at here, if I ask you in which medium will the convection, an important process in solid, liquid, gaseous. Can the solid medium move? You see, convection requires transfer or movement of a mass. Obviously, you do not see rock coming up, climbing and moving and touching the other body and then settling, or hot rock walking away and going in another region. And I am not talking of human beings, or I am not talking of animals, I am talking of rocks, I am talking of metals. You do not see them walking and transferring the heat. No. So therefore, the convection is an effective medium of transfer of heat. I am saying effective medium of the transfer of heat in the gases, that is air, and in the liquids, water. So the convection is effective in, therefore, effective in fluids. Therefore, it is effective in the fluids and gases, that is water and gases. So, if you remember geography, convectional current rotates the plates. Why? Because inside the earth, a rock is in the molten state, and therefore the convectional current rise and they move the plates. Even if you remember the geography lecture, if you previous geomorphology lecture, if you keep on boiling the water, heating the water, the plates will move. And as a result of this, if there is too much vapor coming, it has the power to displace the vessel which is covered by the lid. It has power to displace the lid also, and thus the process of convection. Now coming to that in the geography. See, in geography we can say, in geography you will come to numerous, as I am telling you, application part. In geography you will come to numerous examples: convectional rainfall, equatorial type of a forest, equatorial type of a rainfall, or convectional rainfall, or thunderstorms, or cyclones, etc. Now what is this? In this, there is in which in air the convectional currents are set in. That is the on the hot ground surface, the mass of an air rises upwards. Once the mass of an air rises upwards, why it rises? Because the ground becomes extremely hot. And because when the ground becomes extremely hot, the air expands, uska density decreases, and therefore it rises upwards. As the air is rising upwards, it is also cooling. Because of cooling, it cannot hold the moisture, so it results into first formation of a clouds. Again the air will rise upwards, and again amount of moisture, first smaller clouds will be formed, and then the larger clouds will be formed in the air which is rising upwards. So the hot air rises upwards, and as a result of this, further rising up of the air, further cooling up of the cloud. We will take this in topic again in pressure, again in winds, again in humidity. But you remember that humidity holding capacity, that is how much capacity an air can hold, humid air can hold, is directly related to temperature. So you remember can hold high humidity, cold air, humidity holding capacity decreases. Humidity holding capacity decreases. So if the hot air is rising up, what are these? These are the convectional currents which are set up in. These are the convectional currents which are set up in. Therefore, warm air becomes lighter, the warm air becomes lighter, rises upwards, because of rising upwards, cools and gives rainfall. Because of cooling, there is precipitation, and rainfall. There is precipitation and rainfall. Now look here, this air, hot air hai, it is rising upwards. Because it is rising upwards, it is cooling at a rate which is known as an normal lapse rate, जो आपको पता है, that is 6.5 degrees Celsius per किलोमीटर के हिसाब से the air is cooling upwards. Therefore, cold air has a low humidity holding capacity and then it gives rainfall. So, such kind of a rainfall this is just one part of a rainfall, such kind of a rainfall which occurs due to the convection, due to the convectional region is known as a convectional rainfall. So, transfer of heat is also due to convection. When the rainfall occurs, latent heat of condensation and then is released in the atmosphere. So such kind of a rainfall, when there is a hot ground surface, is one kind of a rainfall. It is a convectional rainfall. Now if you as a person are standing here, where is the air going? Is it going away from you or it is coming on and settling on you? Obviously see the way of an arrow. It is going away from you. On the other hand, as if you as a person are standing in this region, and if the air is coming downwards, see the direction of arrow? It is coming downwards. So this is just the conceptual part I am taking. It is here, it is going upwards, here it is coming and settling downwards. Now in this, because the air is moving upwards, it is as if you are standing upward on the back side of an exhaust fan. So you will be pulled in, because you are standing on the opposite side of an exhaust fan, not facing the fan. You are standing on the opposite side of an exhaust fan or the back side of an exhaust fan. You won't feel any pressure of an air. Such an area is known as an low pressure zone. I'll rub this so that you won't get more confused. Such an area is known as an low pressure or cyclonic conditions. It is not cyclone, you remember, it is known as an cyclonic conditions. Now you can see here, the low pressure zone is always associated with rainfall. I have shown rainfall. So for the rainfall to occur, the air has to rise up. Air can rise up due to convection, or there are some other mechanisms which I will do while doing the rainfall chapter or the precipitation chapter. But why the rainfall is associated with air rising upwards? Because the rising air cools at the rate of 6.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer. The rising air cools at the rate of 6.5 degree Celsius per kilometer, which is normal lapse rate. Why it is cooling at this rate? Because you are going away from the source of the heat. Can you use this as an evidence that the heating up of the atmosphere is not by the solar radiation? Because as you are going away from the ground, then you are going there and temperature decreases. That means as you are going away from the ground, the temperature is decreasing at this rate. That means it is an evident enough, it is a proof enough that is a ground is the major source, or solar ground radiation is the major source of heating of the atmosphere, not the solar radiation. Now coming back to this, as you are going up, the temperature is decreasing at this rate, the air is getting cooled down, the cold air humidity holding capacity is decreasing, and therefore it gives away extra rainfall. Now this is the bottle here. It has this much humidity holding capacity. If I cool this bottle will contract, or if there is a decrease in the size of the bottle, the extra water will rise up, and over some part of the time, if the bottle cannot hold this water, the water will spill down. The same thing, the air, when it is rising upwards, it cannot hold the water because the temperature decreases, as the moisture holding capacity is directly proportional to the rainfall. So extra water from the air, first there is a formation of clouds, and then the extra water is given in the form of a rainfall. So low pressure is always associated with rainfall. Low pressure or cyclonic conditions are always associated with the rainfall. On the other hand, if the air is coming downwards, it is getting heated at this rate. Normal lapse rate, अगर आप ऊपर जा रहे हो तो you will get cooled at this rate, but अगर आप नीचे आ रहे हो तो obviously if cooling is occurring on one direction, heating should occur in the opposite direction. The air is getting heated at this rate at the 6.5 degrees Celsius. So when the air is getting heated, its temperature is increasing. Temperature increasing, its humidity holding capacity, moisture holding capacity is increasing, and therefore it is holding much more and more moisture, and therefore when the air is coming downwards, there is no rainfall. Now if you are standing below the fan, below the fast fan, or on the front side of an exhaust fan, you will obviously feel more pressure on yourself. So when this air is coming down, such an region is known as an high pressure zone. So, and this high pressure zone is always associated with dry conditions, high pressure or anticyclonic conditions. And these are always associated with dryness in the atmosphere. So, the leeward side of Andes, because we have already done South America, there is a Patagonia desert because the air is coming downwards and there is a dryness. Or why there is a dryness in Vidarbha region or Marathwada region of Maharashtra or North Karnataka region or any region in which is on the other side of a mountain, on the leeward side of a mountain. So why? Because of this region. Why there is very heavy rainfall on the windward side of a mountain, जो coastal regions है, and there is a mountain here. Example Mumbai. Why there is so heavy rainfall in the Mumbai region? Why? Because mountain से टकरा के air is rising upwards, creating a low pressure and resulting into very heavy rainfall. But as soon as it crosses the Western Ghat region or the Sahyadri mountain region, the air is coming downwards, it is getting heated, and suddenly the rainfall decreases. So though Mumbai and Pune, Mangalore or Bangalore, they are located only some 200 kilometers apart, but there is so much vast difference in the amount of annual rainfall because of the effect of the Western Ghat region. This is the condition. Now this is what is the heating of the atmosphere. Now our next topic, which is again very important, this was the basic part. Now you remember one thing, before we start with the climatic regions, before we start with the cyclonic regions, before we go deep into climatology, I want you to remember one thing in your mind, fix it in your mind. Low pressure zone, air rises upwards. Cyclonic conditions, I am not saying cyclone, again cyclonic conditions gives rainfall. High pressure promotes dryness in the atmosphere. This is again known as an anticyclonic conditions. So with this we are going to a next topic, that is the factors affecting distribution of temperature.